I don't even know if I'm ready. Ah, ooh, stop it, stop it, stop it. I don't know if I'm ready. I don't have the rights to that music if you heard anything. I don't have the rights to it. But it was only like a second or two, so whatever. Um Look, I'm here though. I'm here and I am excited to be here. Um look. We gonna make it do what it do, baby. It's cold outside, but it's Friday. I did not play Friday as my day. But nonetheless, it's Friday, so welcome to this day. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I don't even know how grateful. It'd be helpful if I put on some glasses. And I'm just trying to still get myself together here. Go easy on me. Go easy on me. Woo! Go easy on me. So, yeah, it's so funny. Okay, so I am, in spite of what this is showing me, I am up. And let's see, how do I do that? Okay, so, um, let's see. Give me 1 second, y'all. I'm trying to um adjust myself here. Ooh. Okay, so let's see. That's I'm coming. I'm coming. Cause this is um you ever see how I don't know if this happens with you, but sometimes what's been happening lately, in spite of me upgrading stuff, in spite of me upgrading stuff, what seems to happen is my screen gets stuck. And so, in it getting stuck, it doesn't always, I can't see that I'm actually in motion or moving. So I was like, okay, it happened yesterday too with Dr. Brown, whatever that was about. But I just love my conversations with him. I don't know, maybe I should wear these other glasses. Mm, I don't know. Hey, good morning. Happy Friday to you. And I'm so glad that you are joining me on this amazing Friday. Although it is frigid cold and snow is coming down where I am. I don't know about you. But um, yeah, it's interesting. I'm still trying to make some changes to morphing into something something different here on this broadcast because it really is upsetting to me that I have not been able to download my own stuff on here. And in trying to download my own stuff, I'm having some issues. And so, because of that, I might need to do some other stuff. I'm still adjusting. I'm always adjusting, and we'll see. We'll make it do what it do. So greetings to you, and just hey, good morning, Erica, darling. How are you? It's so good to see you on here. You pop in every once in a while. Good morning, Sandra. And look, you are a whole year older today, well, yesterday, but yay. Blessings on y'all. Thank you for commenting or putting something in there so I could actually see who is watching. Otherwise, I don't know. Y'all know. And so yes, I'm here. I'm here. And all is well. This morning, I was, for some reason, there was so many ideas that hit me this morning. One of which is because I'm vexed about not being able to download my own stuff off of this particular site. And so I was thinking about making some changes still. You know that now the reason why you see this stuff on the side of me is because I put in a new software so that I could broadcast this to YouTube, so I could still, I don't like somebody else having the sole ownership over what comes through me. So I'm just trying to figure out how to do that. And it might morph into some other changes that I got. I don't know. But whatever the case may be, I'm going to keep working at it and working at it until, until I feel comfortable. In this one song I was listening to, it was Beyonce's song Freedom. Freedom, where are you? Because I need freedom too. And she goes through this off of this site that you are talking to me on, Erica. It's not letting me, where I used to could download my videos, it's not letting me download those anymore, and I don't understand why. I haven't tried it in a couple days, but as of last week, it wouldn't let me. So I was listening to that Beyonce song on Freedom, and the rapper who comes in started saying something like, this thing of, like when you put your name in concrete, hoping that it doesn't, like that'll last forever. And I think a lot of times, many of us, especially, wonder about our own immortality, that thing where we used to carve our name on a tree and say, Sandra was here, or somebody was here, or people scratched their name in wood, and for as long as those things last, certainly, but just because you see Sandra was here doesn't mean that you understand Sandra who, or the full essence of that. Yeah, I don't understand this, Erica. I'm really trying to figure it out. I'm really trying to figure it out. And yeah, thank you for pointing that out. Like I said, I upgraded on my internet service. I did not upgrade my computer. However, I was also having some issues when I was on my laptop. I'm confused. I am confused. And so, hey, let's see. I don't even know how to pronounce that. Obalafia. Hey, good morning to you. That may be it. I'm not sure. But anyway, I can't, I can't walk and chew gum at the same time, girl. Oh my gosh, the snow is coming down. So a lot of times people try to figure out some way to immortalize themselves, and for the most part, when you look and you see somebody's name and say that they were here, you just don't even know who they were. As a matter of fact, one of the books that I was reading was talking about one of the reasons why Socrates and others refused, Jesus, as a matter of fact, refused to put down their things in writing, was because they thought of writing as a flat thing, that you couldn't have life in what was written. And so because writing was just introduced, or just being introduced in the time of Socrates, and then and you, as you know, none of the gospels were written while Jesus was alive. They came a couple of hundred years after his crucifixion. And so we have this, there was no accounts, because they didn't even think of this idea of writing being able to encapsulate the essence of who you are, or what you are saying, that it could be easily misinterpreted, just like we find with text messages today. This idea of a text being easily misinterpreted. So none of these people were, even if they knew about writing, were not pursuing that path, because it was such a flat thing. And so here we are, thousands of years later, few thousand years later, and we are still in this midst of um trying to figure out how to not let our living be in vain. There is a African proverb that talks about that as long as someone, or there was a few of them, but that you are not forgotten, you are not dead until the last person who you've touched forgets about you or dies. I mean, it's as if our spirit goes on. But here's the beautiful thing, that since time began, since the evolution of man, there has been, you are a part of a lineage that goes back to the very beginning. It's not like you could just, self-create. There was an antecedent to you, somebody who came before you, and you are their testimony, their name on the wall, the evidence of their existence. You are it. And while, I look back and I can speak the names of my grandmothers and my great grandmothers, and as you speak the names into the atmosphere, knowing that that you came from them, while you may look and you may think, oh my goodness, because here's something else I know from going to Pompeii in Italy. Pompeii was the place where that volcano erupted, and the lava came down so quickly that there were people that didn't have a chance to run, or they got caught in the midst of their running. And so when they went to excavate the city, they pumped plaster into the places where they found holes, which meant that whatever was there was organic and had deteriorated, or whatever you call that. So they pumped plaster into the holes, and what they saw is that full-grown people were maybe 4 feet tall, and when you saw the city and all the things that were there, we have this idea that people then look like we do now. This is them on steroids, right? This is us eating differently, us having a different relationship to the land, us, there is a total difference about all of this. From back then, we don't eat the same. We don't, we got light now. Instead of going to bathhouses, we have bathrooms in our homes. There's so much that was different, and we are descendants of somebody else. So, whether you want to take it all the way back to the motherland, or just talk about, because that you did not come into existence during the our captivity here in the United States, that way prior to this, there was those that came before you, your antecedents. I like to think of them. And so all of this is a part of who you are. And so how do we make our mark? What is it that we are doing? And so healing, I like to think of it as healing our family lines. As we work to heal our family lines, that is one of the ways in which we are immortalized, right? Somebody could say, woo, in my family, we had this, I don't know. I don't want to even think about, oh, okay. I could say that, you know what, that in my family, the women in my family, my dad used to always say this, and I'm denying it. My dad used to always say, ooh, the Bishop women do not make good choices of men. And then there's Sandra. I don't know, but I want to say that, we're going to be chain breakers. So the patterns that have been present in your family, whether it is drama people, whether they were argumentative, whether they were not good with money, whether they were liars, philanderers, cheaters, whatever it is, you have the ability to break that chain. Up until we could say up until I came on the scene. So as I dig out my family history and look back, I know that there were things that were acceptable at one time that are not acceptable today, right? Yes, breaking those generational curses. There were things that were acceptable back in the day that are not acceptable today. I'm not here to judge anybody. I'm not here to say, oh, granddad, why were you, why'd you have so many children other than, right? Or I'm not here to judge that. Why'd you walk away from? Why'd you do such and such? Why'd that neighbor lady have kids by you too? Why? I'm not here to judge. That's not what I'm here to do. But what I am here to do is to heal, whether it's the curses or whether it's the pain. I am here to make a difference in my lineage, in my line. And as I say all the time, it don't matter whether you have children or not. The fact that there are people in your lineage, my siblings, my nieces and nephews, they have my DNA running through them too. So does yours. And so this idea that just because there is a full stop, like if my brother that passed didn't have any children, it does not mean that his issues will not affect somebody else in the lineage. Y'all, that book that we read, It Didn't Start With You, was so powerful in talking about us looking at it as if everything comes up under that particular umbrella. And so we've got to stop thinking about it in limiting ways. Now, here's the other thing I want to put out there too, because I think it's important to note. Most people don't understand epigenetics and how our DNA has been altered by the things that have happened to us in our lives. Epigenetics shows that trauma, and it doesn't just, sometimes we think of trauma in a number of ways. Trauma is anything that it has had an impact on you, like even if it is an overwhelming, what some of y'all might say, oh, I could see being bad or bent out of shape about it, but that's not. But you know what? Trauma is, it lands on everybody different. So I always tell people there is no hierarchy in suffering. People will say to you, this is what I used to get, because back in the day I worked for the Rape Crisis Center. And this was one of my first professional jobs. I worked for them. And one of the things that would happen often is that people wanted to make this hierarchy on suffering. Like, oh, you knew your person that raped you? Oh, that wasn't that bad. Well, how the heck do you know? Right? If it was a family member, how the heck are you? Who are we to determine how that impacts or lands on somebody? Rape is rape, right? And so when we start, it wasn't rape if he owned you. Bullshiggity, right? Come on. And so we've got to really stop with this idea that we know and can talk about or even give voice to somebody else's suffering. Suffering, whatever that may mean, whatever has traumatized you, no matter what, is significant. And that trauma can be passed on to generations, right? Can be passed on to your child, can be passed on to your nieces and nephew. That trauma, because the trauma seeks to be resolved. And so we've got to stop looking at it in such myopic ways and meaning, just this, like this, single focused ways, and broaden our perspective of these things. We have secondary trauma, right? When you watch things happen to other people, there's and in this book that we are supposed to be working on, Brene Brown, one of the things that Brene Brown said in one of her earlier books was this idea of how guilt and shame can crawl off of one person and seem like it floats across the room and then creep into another person. This idea of shame or guilt is not something that is just isolated to the individual, but can also affect others. Whether it is through a shared experience or so I've spoke about this before too. There was somebody who was asking the question of, does your father make you go through womanhood training? And there was this level of shock, like, what is that? What is womanhood training? And come to find out, this girl's father was, having sex with her, and thought that, and she was being told that that was how she was supposed to learn how to be a wife. Yes. Truly, the meaning behind the scripture, the iniquities of the father, yes, are visited upon the child. Yes, that is the quote. Up to 4 generations, it says. However, it's much longer. It can be so much longer. And there is a lot of research, epigenetic research, that is showing nowadays how these things, even though they have been passed down, it could have been in our captivity, our enslavement and captivity that has been passed down and still continues to resonate. It could have been so many other things. They do a lot of research around the Holocaust and some of the famines that have been experienced in some of the land. Yes, those things are passed down generation after generation. So these things don't just go away. As a matter of fact, I feel, my grandmothers, they used to be on me, right? And I had to say to them, y'all, look, I got this, grandma. I got it, right? So, yes. All right. So let me, so good day. I read these, the daily the daily guides. I used to try to read them closer to the beginning of the hour, but whatever the case may be, I still need to. I get to read this. These were this month prepared by Raymont Anderson, Reverend Raymont Anderson, and he is such, I love his sharing. So I am excited about seeing what he has to say for today. Because this Friday, I don't know that he did this with a conscious awareness that this is Friday, but whatever the case may be, I want to read his gifting to us. And so this one is entitled, That's Not Curiosity. That's Not Curiosity. And the first quote that he uses comes from Ephesians 4:29, the New Living Translation of the Bible. And it says, don't use foul or abusive language. Let everything you say be good and helpful so that your words will be an encouragement to those who hear them. Okay. Yes, yes, yes. And so Ernest Holmes, from What Religious Science Teaches Us, the quote is, everyone should practice this close and intimate relationship between the individual and the universal. Everyone should practice the presence of God. This presence is a reality, the one great and supreme reality of life. All right, so so here's what Reverend Raymont wrote. He says, nosy, nibby, Buttinsky, busybody. Has anyone ever called you such names? Nosy? Wait a minute. I'm just really trying to see. Has anybody ever? People have told me I talk too much. Since I was a kid, they told me I talk too much. I don't know if that's included, but here, that's my answer. I don't know that they've told me I was butting in or busybody or anything like that. But they did have told me I talk too much. And so y'all, guess what? I talk too much. And I'm just being me, right? So has anybody ever called you such a name? What do these names imply? You might be tempted to defend yourself as just being curious, and yet the superpower of curiosity calls us to become better as a result of asking, seeking, exploring, rather than seeking information as fodder for gossip, to use against someone, or to have the upper hand, as it were. All communication serves a purpose, as does exploration. The exploration of colonizers, for example, were avenues to amass greater wealth, status, and privilege for themselves, while plundering and enslaving whole nations of people, stealing their lands and their lives. Sometimes our seeking information and inquiry about another is actually doing the same thing. Our invitation is to ask ourselves whether the information we seek is life-affirming or life-denying. What is it that I want to create by way of this information? Will this help or hurt someone? If we are honest with ourselves, then we know what is ours to do. And if we are courageous and convicted to principle, we will do it. Of course, we want to get to know others, to build relationships, and to foster the bonds of friendship based on the sharing of information. Knowing our reasons, our intentions for a certain line of inquiry is what separates healthy curiosity from being nosy. And the affirmation that he puts with this is I know the difference between healthy curiosity and being nosy. I ask relevant questions to deepen my relationship with my friends, family, and community. Okay, so that is interesting, right? Because here's what I will tell you, because I talk too much, right? Um, One of the things that I don't know if it was fleshed out in there, because one of the things I do, I will tell you, is that I have a lifetime of experiences that I bring to the front in order to share and discuss with you. And I have experiences and lifetimes of friendships and information that I pull off of. If you notice, I never mention names on here, but talk about a great number of people and life experiences, because I believe that it is in part none of the things that happen to you and for you alone, but rather happen to bring for all of our growth and all of our good. So as we use the examples or see the examples, those examples help us to see and make better choices in our lives, or opens us up to new possibilities. So I share, and I share because I think that it is helpful, and stories give such great illumination. But here's the thing. While I am sharing stories, I don't judge people. I one of the things that I know is that we do the best that we can by the light that we have to see by. That's a Julia Cameron quote. We do the best that we can with the light we have to see by in that particular moment. And so if the best that you can do is the best that you can do, so be it. But if we were given more information, if we have more insight, which comes through this thing of sharing and talking and being, you know, exploring things, then all the better. Yesterday I was out walking my dogs, and it's really interesting because usually thank you. Usually there is, when I'm walking my dogs, it's cold outside, and you don't normally see people just walking the street in 20-degree weather just for nothing, right? And so the sun was shining, in spite of the fact that it was cold. And so I decided I would walk my dog. And while I was out walking my dogs, there was a lady that I saw coming at me. And I was thinking to myself, okay, I don't know why she's on the same side of the street, but let me cross over. Because she crossed over to the same side of the street I was. I crossed the street. And as I crossed the street, she seemed like she was going to do an intercept and cross the street yet again. And I was thinking to myself, what is this about, right? And so instead of her coming onto the sidewalk, she stops in the middle of the street and asks me if she could have some money. Like, she was asking for money. And, you know, for me, I'm walking the dogs. I don't have any money on me. Sorry, right? And so I continue on my way. And as I circle back, I mean, we were gone for about 20 minutes. And as I circle back, here comes the woman yet again. And, you know, I asked a question, probably being nosy. Are you really out here walking in the cold trying to find 50 cents? Yes, I'm trying to get $1. And, you know, of course, in my mind, I'm thinking to myself, like, it's 27 degrees out here. Okay, so you might take that as being a little judgmental, but it's 27 degrees out here. and you're walking up and down the street trying to find some other person that may be walking up and down the street to get you $1. She only asked me for 50 cents to get you $1. And in the process of me having this conversation with her, my dog lunges at her. And she steps back and she gives me this look like, oh, you got dogs that will attack. Well, that's why I was crossing the street. I wanted to tell her. I have 2 dogs, both of them little dogs, and both of them rescue dogs, meaning that I have not had them all of their lives. And yes, my dogs are very protective and territorial, and she kind of gave me this look like, what kind of person are you that has a dog that would try to attack me? And I didn't go through saying, hey, my dog is deaf, and even if I wanted to say no, it couldn't hear me. All I could do was jank his chain, the leash that I had it on. But the look that she gave me was just as if she was just, I wasn't looking at her any kind of way for this 50 cents. But the look that she gave me because my dog lunged at her was just like like she was going to shame me or make me feel guilty, when I was trying to, I know how my dogs are. If nothing else, I know how these little, one is 6 pounds and one is 12 pounds. And if you've ever had or been around little dogs, you know that they got a complex. And she just kind of gave me this, oh my goodness. It was quite, I don't want to say, it wasn't amusing, but it was okay. That was just the way I took it. Like, okay, okay. So I think that, for each and every one of us, we come, and what I try to offer is the gift of insight or experience or stuff that comes to me. And it is my hope that if you get something out of it, like if you get some juice out of it, that you will then go and apply that or share that wherever it is that you go. Sometimes what I know is because of the way that spirit works, is that you'll hear something and then you'll get the evidence or you'll get some kind of experience with that makes you think again. Do I really need to scratch my name in this tree, or do I need to impress my name on somebody's heart or in their experience? Or do I need to treat or engage with the younger people who are around me, who see me, who I'm in contact with? How do I need to show up in ways that are different, that are impactful? Because now I realize that my presence, who I am, what I bring, the words that I say matters and makes a difference. It's not gossip when you are doing it and intending well. So we all have to check not only our intentions but also our assumptions. I am really good at one of the things that happens to me a lot, and if you've been watching me for any time, you know that I'm one of those people that as I'm talking, a story will pop in my head. And when the story pops in my head, I think to myself, oh, that must be for somebody, right? It must be something that is important. So what I'll do is, and I do this in public too, if you've ever met me in person, if something pops into my head, sometimes I'll say, oh, can I got a story, or I want to share something with you, not judging it, not knowing why I'm sharing it or who I'm sharing it for, any of that stuff. The story yesterday that I shared from out of Mitch Albom's book about the wave, it was so impactful. As a matter of fact, when I read it, I don't know that I knew what an impact on my life it would have. But what I do know is, as in hindsight, as I began to apply that to different things, I saw it just blossomed and kept blossoming over and over again. Every time I thought about it, every time I shared it, it was something that was wonderful and impactful. There's a lot of times that we see things or we hear things, and you know, people don't always know what you're going through, but one of the things, the beauty of spirit is that spirit will put a story or a reminder of a story on your heart to share with whoever it is that is before you, right? And so my coming and saying and telling you a story doesn't make the assumption that I know yours or your drama or your journey. But if I'm obedient to what I'm receiving, and then I share it based on that, on being obedient to what's been given to me, then what you do with that is not my business. Or how that is impacting your life at the time is not my business. But that I do what it is that I'm guided to do, that is my business. So I'm not responsible for how people receive things, right? I do so hope that, that you receive it with the love that is intended. But, I talk about this thing, the habitual patterns. I don't know what day I talked about this on, but this idea that if you are used to being a victim, it might not be because the person before you is trying to victimize you. It might be the way that you receive things, and the way that it could be a family trauma, that's been the way that they've always received things. And so if it's a pattern or a cycle or something that is within you, that becomes your work to do, right? And so if you don't receive what I put out there with the love that it was intended, that's the work to do, right? Always going back and checking and saying, woo, what am I seeing here that may not be the truth? What am I bringing to this experience? And let's look at the habitual patterns, because sometimes the habitual patterns happen over and over and over again. So we're busy pointing the finger at everybody else. We're talking about what these women out here do, or we're talking about what these men out here do, or there's if you have the notion that everybody lies, right? Then sometimes you got to check, well, wait a minute. Is this true? Or is this like not even a thought that started with me? Has it been an experience that I've been having over and over again? And how, if this is not the truth, how do I then heal this? Because it could be a generational thing. It could be something that, that you heard from an uncle, or, it was something that happened in your family a long time ago. It may not be true of the situation that you're in. But because you come into a situation with that kind of energy, having the assumption that everybody lies. Even if they're not lying, you're going to think that they are, because it begins with you. It begins with you. And so there's this possibility that we can leave the door open and say, all right, maybe this person is not that way. I know for me, because I've had the stuff in my family line where my grandfather, I always talk about, I don't want to call him a cheater. That's not what I want to call him. He was a farmer, right? My grandfather was a farmer. He liked to plant seeds, and he planted them in other people's yards or fields or wombs or wherever. He was a seed planter, right? And so I'm not judging him in that. But what I do know is that when that energy comes on me, when I feel this feeling of, is this guy a planter? Is that guy a planter? If as I'm doing that, I know that that's not my energy that I'm bringing to the table, but rather my grandmother's energy that still lives within me. And because I'm being a chain breaker, I want to say, you know what? Okay, I understand that maybe you were hurt, you felt diminished by what happened, but I don't want to carry around that energy, because what I know is that what I think about, what I focus in on, I call it forth, whether it's the truth or not about men in general. I'm calling it forth by my energy, which means that it's going to guarantee that I run into what I was trying to avoid. If you want to take it back to a scripture, even Job said, that which I fear has come upon me. Your fear draws things to you. And so as you sit there and you dwell on, all people lie, or all people cheat, or all people are this, or I can't trust anybody, you are going to draw that experience because you're thinking about it. Let's break that, right? Because I know that no matter what happens to me, I tell people all the time, I am so resilient. I have been fearfully and wonderfully made, that no matter what happens to me, what did that woman say in that song? That I'll rise 1,000 times again. I will rise up. I'll rise like the day. I'll rise up in spite of the ache. I will rise 1,000 times again, right? And so when you have the awareness that you were meant to heal, when you have the awareness that the stuff that comes to you for your highest and best good, and no matter what, you are able to overcome that. I know that there's a lot of you that are probably sitting up worrying and fearing about something right now. But one of the things that Dr. Brown always says on my show, I don't know if he says it every time, but he talks about, and he says that this is not your first time, right? This ain't your first time at this rodeo, and it's not going to be your last. Sometimes we check out of these bodies, we go back for reprogramming to see and then we volunteer, you know what, I'm going to get it right this time. I'm going to go back and I'm going to get it right this time. And so he's like, this idea of, don't be afraid of seeing that shore coming. Don't be afraid. That's from yesterday's analogy. Don't be afraid of what's to come. That's what he was telling, he tells us all the time. Don't be afraid of that. Don't try to avoid it. Well, he wouldn't be a doctor if, he said don't try to avoid it, because that's what doctors do. But, he's saying that we come back. We get another go round at this. And And whether you believe that or not, I don't know. You don't have to. But I know this ain't my first time at the rodeo, and I'm rather pleased with I'm rather pleased with the way that my life is. I'm so pleased. I'm so in love with this. And I think that at a certain point, hopefully, what all of us do is fall in love with this process, with who we are. With I don't know about you, right? But I know, look, I can say, I love you, girl. I do. I can say that. I can say that, I feel the expansion that is happening within my being, and I hope you feel it too. And whatever you vexes you, that you make a concerted effort to heal whatever that is, whatever it is that you're dealing with. So, if you have money issues, right? Or if you've got anger issues, or if you've got trust issues, or if you've got, you know, some kind of curse, or whatever it is that you're dealing with, I hope that what you are actually doing is dealing with it instead of going back to sleep, because we are so good at that. We just go back to sleep. Oh, we got this thing talking about stay woke, and stay woke is more like is and I don't want to try to diminish it at all, but it's kind of like keeping watch, keeping watch for transgressions, or keep and watch, or when soldiers, when you're out in the field or something, somebody stays awake to keep watch. And so with this anticipation that there is this, you got to stand guard. When I say stay woke, it's not in that regard. It's not to protect your borders. My idea of staying woke is that, every moment becomes a teachable moment. Every moment there are possibilities for unfoldment in you. And so it's just trying to figure out, you know, what it is that you're to do. Oh my goodness. So y'all know I could go on for a few more minutes on that, but I want to try to read a sentence out of this book that I started. And I am already like way into like coming around the mountain is what I must say. I'm coming around the mountain. And so I want to read at least a little sentence. So I started this, February 1st was supposed to be the first day of this book, but February 1st was so good. It was so juicy. And yeah, so that was a blow off. And so on the second, I actually read the first two sentences of this book. And so now here I want to, it's Friday and I don't do this on Saturday. I don't do this book on Saturday. So we're trying to get back into the swing of things. So yesterday I did the thing about the sea and the shore. And it says how it started. That's the first, that's the caption here. And it says, I am not a sentimental keeper of things. This is Brene Brown's book, Atlas of the Heart. She starts off, first sentence, I am not a sentimental keeper of things. Maybe it's because I come from a long line of people who hold on to everything, every receipt and photo and old department store box. Where do you fall at on that spectrum, right? When I think about it, I come from a line of what I would call pack rats. My dad was one that I could, if I needed something, I went to check his garage first. What I found out is that there are a lot of people that are like that. You can go and you can check their garage or their little storage thing, and they got stuff in there that they haven't even used or opened for some reason. Maybe, I don't know, but maybe people go through the aisles of a store and think, oh, I'm gonna need this one day, and put it in their cart and buy it, take it home, put it in their garage or on a shelf or someplace else. Whatever that may be, I know that I have benefited from the fact that some people are collectors of things. And so she says from the time she was in her early 20s, she often had the inevitable, unenviable task of packing up houses of relatives who could no longer live at home or who had died. Wow, did I just talk about this? It seems like I just talked about this within the last couple of days. If the movie montage version of this chore exists, I have never experienced it. If movie montage version of this chore exists, I have never experienced it. It's miserable. So this idea, I think I just talked about this, of packing up somebody else's stuff. And I was saying to you that people will not value what it is that you do. They don't value what it is that I do. And so by reconciling your stuff, I love it when confirmation happens. This is telling me that I need to be mindful of that. This ain't just about what I'm telling you, but it's also about what I'm telling myself. Get my house in order. Get my house in order. Oh, this is confirmation. I just opened this book and it said just this. That ain't about to say that I'm about to leave y'all, but it could be that part of my visioning is that this is not going to be my primary residence. So, oh wow, that is so that just woo, that just landed. That just landed. That landed. All right, y'all. I'm going to call it a day, because while I do have a number of things that I would love to get accomplished today, and I need to be about that business. You know, I am here Monday through Saturday at this 8-ish hour. I've been making it in about 8:15. But I'm always trying to push it closer to 8 o'clock. The fact that I have not been able to do so only speaks to that shower that just like it ministers to me. So, anyway, at any rate, I am going to get off of here. I will be here tomorrow morning. I hope to see you either tomorrow morning. Sundays, I'm here at 1 o'clock. I can't believe that we are on the weekend again. Sundays, I'm here at 1 o'clock. Blessings to you, Sarika. Friday is your day. Friday is my day, darling. How are you? No buongiorno today. Let's see. What do I want to say? Ciao, Bella. So, I will, I got some stuff that I need to do, and I'm going to get hop to that, and be here tomorrow like 8:15ish, and then on Sunday at 1, and then back again on Monday in the 8 o'clock hour as well. Love and adore y'all. If you are able to subscribe to me or get notifications of when I'm coming on, please do so. If leave comments, all of that good stuff. It all helps. Whatever. I don't know how all of this stuff works, but I'm going to continue with my attempt to work it. So I hope you have a fabulous Friday. I know that it's chilly out and that it's snowy out, but fabulous nonetheless. Make it so, because you get to make those decisions. Trust me, you do. And if your day is not going as you might like it to, change your mind about it, right? Ooh, everything I do is good and very good. I think that this a powerful way to call forth something different, right? You got the power. I got the power. All right. I don't know. I ain't even got that song, but